Anna, here at the EuroHeat Power Congress, everything is about accelerating the transition, decarbonizing heat, the heat transition. How do you see that? What role for renewables in the district energy systems? What challenges, what opportunities?
I think what is really interesting here is when we speak about heat, obviously the elephant in the room, 50% of total final energy demand, only 11.7% that is renewable. So it already shows like we have a major challenge. Electrification is playing a role here, obviously, in the heating sector, so in buildings and in industry. But what we also see is like the electrification developments are actually occurring very much in China, but when we're looking at Europe, for instance, and the US, basically it's not going quick enough. So we clearly need like all solutions basically to increase renewables. And I think this is where district energy systems are really interesting in terms of infrastructure, because it's bringing in an efficient infrastructure, but it's also the best way or a very easy way to integrate basically renewables. Unfortunately, globally, we only have a share of 10% of renewables in district energy system, which again shows like the massive missed opportunity. So our message from Rent on one side is very clearly accelerate the deployment of renewables in district energy systems.
And when you say that, you mean all renewables, I guess, whether that's geothermal or solar thermal, it's just alternative energy sources. What do you think about waste heat, for example? Because that's something which is also very close to our heart at Danfoss, to make sure that those energy sources are being used as well.
So basically from Rent on side, we're covering all renewable energy technologies and are rather technology agnostic. What we clearly see is that some technologies are more adapted to others, and especially when we're speaking about heat, it's very often also what is available locally, regionally, and needs to be anchored really at this level. And this is also where waste heat comes in. I think like lost heat in processes, but also waste heat at municipal level, you see. So I think it really has a role to play. But what is also important to say is like when we're looking at waste heat from incineration, for instance, this is from also at the European level, not fully renewable, you see, like, and I think it's very clear that the waste production will need to reduce. So, which also means like we need to prepare a renewable-based future with regard to this.
Yeah, definitely. For us also, it's if you look, for example, at cooling, because the synergies between heating and cooling are often not used to the extent they should be used. And every cooling process generates heat as well. And very often you would have facilities where you need both heating and cooling, but the heat is just blown away. So that's an example, I think, where we can really make a difference and either use that waste heat then directly on site or feed it then into a district energy network if one is available close by. So.
No, to be honest, I think this is also where we clearly see that what we need to work on is a much stronger integration. You see, like from the planning, whether it is like electricity plants, heating, cooling, but even transport, especially when we're looking at the district energy part. But then, as you said, like indeed the different energy uses, and then very clearly also the role district energy can also play in terms of thermal storage and basically proposals to the electric grid and a much stronger sector integration. So,
thank you so much, indeed. Thank you.